Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Let me open the blinds here. Let the daylight in. Well, as you can tell, it's still dark outside. It's not dawn yet, but we're hoping that it'll arrive during this video review. This taste challenge involves Jim Beam Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, introduced in 1938, not 1795. That's when the Beam Company started distilling. Beam Company, 1795, we believe, but the company says. But this brand, Jim Beam Bourbon, didn't hit the store shelves until 1938. They made other Beam products. They had, Beam's bourbon and stuff, but Jim Beam, named after a guy that helped resurrect the company after Prohibition. That's what this is. Okay. There it is in focus finally. This is a little half-size plastic bottle, $3.75. Normally I would buy a glass full-size bottle, but they had these for $4.99 on sale at Mathern's. So I took advantage and bought 2 bottles and had a hold. And when that's gone, that'll be it. I got to move on. Can't just keep going back to the same stuff. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not going to. Okay. Good. Got the right glass tags. Now here is Evan Williams 1783 small batch. This is the American Heroes edition, which is the same stuff, but it's just from 2 warehouses. It's warehouse picks from 2 warehouses at Bernheim Distillery, because Heaven Hill owns a number of distilleries. 1E and 1J, warehouse 1E and 1J. So if you did a blind test between this and the regular 1783 small batch, I seriously doubt there would be any difference. And if there was, it would be the most minuscule. So we have the Heaven Hill normal mash bill for all of their Evan Williams whiskeys, 78% corn. It's got a little information booklet there that you can read. This is a 2023 American Heroes edition. Now for 2024, they're going to apply it to some other whiskey they have. Which one it is, I don't know. They've been doing it since 2011, I believe. 78% corn, 12% rye, and 10% malted barley whiskey. Man, I put this thing on kind of tight. Huh? Won't budge. Oh, now it's gone. I couldn't get it. It's like the cap was fused with the container. Now Jim Beam has gone back to the white caps. They had the black caps adopted about 8 years ago, and then I guess they decided to go back. You know how these companies do. They decided to go back to the white caps, the original white cap. Oh, pour too much. That's a shame. Well, I'm not topping that. I'm not going back to even that amount up. Let's see if I can pour this back in there. Actually, I did it without spilling too much. Didn't want to spill any of it. Okay, just a few drops. I know a penny saved is a penny earned, and I'm wasting pennies. Okay, go get my little towel, wipe it up. It's not too big of a mess. Now, there's a lot of Beam products, so I would doubt I'll ever get to all of them. I'd like to, but ain't likely. All right. Sorry about the delay. Now, after I do this one for Wednesday's taste challenge, because today's Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be uh, Edmund Williams 1783 small batch versus the Jim Beam Black 8-year age. That's the old up till 2016 16 edition, pretty much. It might have been 15, but we never could find an official date on that. Yeah, Jim Beam Black 8-year age, no longer produced, but I did find a bottle, a big bottle for $32.99 at International Market. A big handle bottle with an actual handle on it. But they sold out. It's all gone now. People went in there and they said, wait a minute, 8-year age, and they bought it, and that was it. Okay, so it's gone, but no big deal. I got to buy it, and that bottle's gonna last me a long time. And then when I'm finished with that bottle, I'll plan to buy the Jim Beam Extra, the new black label that's been around about 9 years. Maxwell says, good morning, Ron. Maxwell in the Russian Federation. Herbie in India. Hi. So I got India, Russia watching, America watching. A worldwide broadcast, folks. Okay. '90 proof versus 80 proof, 6 to 8 years versus 4-year age. Now, Jim Beam technically is a non-age stated product, but we know it's 4 years because on their television commercials they say it's aged 4 long years, twice the required requirement. Twice the requirement for straight bourbon. Straight bourbon has to be aged at least 2 years in new charred oak barrels. But I've seen commercials where they say age twice the required amount of time. Now they say 4 long years. I don't know about that because you can commonly find 10-year-old whiskeys for not much money. So that's a lot of people would say, yeah, 4 short years perhaps is what you mean. But whatever the case, we know. But there's no age statement on the bottle. Probably now they told me at Jack Daniel's they don't put the age statement on the bottles because they have to pay extra tax. That's what the man was saying. He said he's been working there since he was 18 years old. He said if you put an age statement, you got to pay extra tax. And so they just leave it off. He said, but I can tell you it's aged. I'm telling you, he was informally telling us that it's aged at least 4 years now. But there is no formal age statement on either one of these. And probably for that reason, to get around some ridiculous tax rule. But they say on the website 6 to 8 years, so average of it's different whiskeys blended together, and the youngest is 6 years old, and the oldest is 8, so it's average about 7 years, and this is all about 4 years. So there you go. And this is brought down to 80 proof, and that's brought down to 90 proof from the barrel. After they take it from the barrel, they add water, tap water, to bring it down to the desired proof. All right, charred oak, strong whiskey punch, which I think is the 90 proof, that burn, but not a bad burn, like the Kentucky Hug, they call that, what they call that. Medium body, mostly dry finish, get a little honeysuckle nectar. Is this like a typical whiskey aroma and flavor? Yeah, it's stereotypical. It's like a prototype whiskey. If somebody told you, well, I've never tried whiskey before, what does whiskey taste like? And you say, well, here's a type called bourbon whiskey. Would you like to try it? Yes. And then they try it. Oh, yeah, okay. That would be like a good baseline example. It's not exotic or weird. You obviously, if somebody asked you that question, you wouldn't give them the one I had yesterday, Brooklyn peated bourbon. It's from New York, a non-traditional bourbon state, first of all. Secondly, they're using peated malt to produce the bourbon. And it's obviously still mostly corn, but they're adding a significant amount of peated malt. Now, So that would not be a good example, because that would give the person a very wrong, incorrect impression of typical bourbon. Well, it's a very good product. It's yummy and everything, but it would be wrong. It would not be accurate. It would be like giving them Jim Beam honey, honey liqueur, which is a whiskey liqueur, and tell them this is bourbon. No, that's whiskey liqueur, a honey whiskey liqueur made with bourbon. It's not bourbon, and it should never be used as an example. Okay. Much more honey here. Still get the vanilla from the oak now. Medium bodied, mostly dry finish thing, but it feels lighter, like less alcohol is what I mean, lighter, less punch, more mellow. If you want to say it's bland compared to the other one, I guess that is a way to say it, but I don't know if that's a correct way to say it, or necessarily accurate way. It is a little bland, but I like it. I like Jim Beam. I always did like Jim Beam, and I thought it had some strange green wood taste, like the wood was still green. I know it isn't. And it had also a taste like cellar mold, like black mold in a cellar. Now that could be part of it, because these distilleries cause black mold to get in the air. And when you drive to these distillery towns like Bardstown, Kentucky, they got mold, black mold all over the street signs, on the trees, on the houses, and people complain that it's bad. My house has been covered with mold since I moved here, and the distillery is causing this, and they need to stop. And the distillery says, well, when did you move here? 1979. Okay, so you've been here 45 years, but our distillery's been here since 1795 in some form. So when you moved there, you didn't notice the mold everywhere? Oh, well, yeah, I noticed it. I didn't know what it was. Okay, so you chose to live close to it. Now, if you can say, well, I've been living here since 1790, and I've been having this mold problem since 95, and I'm really sick of it. Now, that's about the only way you'd win that contest. Like a lawsuit. You're not going to win it. Plus, there ain't no way the state of Kentucky is going to side with you over distilleries that are juiced in all to the hilt, and the U.S. government too, who's getting all this tax revenue. So you can just more or less forget it. Just get used to the mold, I guess. It's like refineries in Louisiana, chemical plants in Louisiana. You can complain and get some environmental socialist group to come advocate for you and talk about the children and everything, but it's not going anywhere, because they're not going anywhere, because the state is going to favor them. The state is going to favor them. And in many cases, they're able to demonstrate that these people are wildly exaggerating the story, making claims that cannot be backed up, and all this other humbug. Like they were saying, Cancer Alley along the Mississippi River between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, or like say, I guess St. Rose and Baton Rouge, full of cancer because of the chemical plants. Then there were counter studies done, and guess what? Yeah, the cancer rate there was no worse than anywhere else in the country. So much for Cancer Alley. You say, but the People's World Journal said, and I was listening to Pacifica Radio, and the Socialist Workers Party was talking about it. I know they were. Okay. And I heard something on Democracy Now! Bet you did. Okay. I am not going to declare that these are very different one from the other, because you know what? They're not. If you think Jim Beam and Evan Williams 1783 are wildly different, I think you're wrong. Now, obviously, a better comparison would be the Jim Beam Extra, the black label, the current black label, 90 proof, up against this one. Okay, that would be a better challenge. I get it. even these two at 80 proof versus 90 is not remarkably different. So I would just shop price, tell you the truth. I would just get whatever one's cheaper, which means, the Jim Beam normally. Now, my prices were not normal. They were not like Guy's Eyes. They were not normal because this was $4.99. That's an aberrant price. And that bottle was $9 even plus tax. Less than half price. Not normal. Abnormal. That's why I bought it immediately. I wasn't planning to buy it right now. I was Michael Corleone. I just wanted to wait. But for $9, I wasn't waiting. Okay, so I say that this is the Evan Williams because it's got a little bit more oomph to it. But it's not a major difference. I'm going to say this clearly. It's the Jim Beam. So there you go. I got it wrong. Now I got 2 losses, which has got me frustrated to the hilt. I never would have dreamed I'd get it wrong. But I did. Just goes to show you, a blind taste test can throw all the preconceived notions out the window. Let's go to the screen share. Here's the Jim Beam website, one of our first bourbons in 1938. Just so happens to be the #1 bourbon. It is not the world's #1 whiskey. That would be either Johnny Walker Red Label or Crown. I'm not sure who's got more sales. Probably Johnny Walker Red, but Crown Royal is the #1 in America, #1 in Canada, and #1 in the USA as of 2021. Can you believe it? The #1 whiskey in the USA is not an American whiskey. It's a North American whiskey, but it's not. It's a Canadian whiskey. Why is it so popular? I guess people like it. If you ask us, it's even better when shared. They should write, if you ask us, it's even better when put into a taste challenge, a blind taste. The taste, grain, oak, fruit, char, and sweet. And it's heavy towards grain and oak. I'll give it that. That's what 4 years of aging hard oak barrels will get you. See what I'm saying? Technically, on the bottle, no age date. But we know it is because they're telling you that on the website. But they're avoiding the bottle. Like I said, I think it's the tax reason they can avoid the tax, which is, I don't support these taxes. They're crazy. The aroma, oaky, vanilla, spicy back. Go along with that. Like that glass. Really like the glass. Flavor. Now notice, isn't it strange? Oh, that's a global website. Flavor. Medium-bodied, mellow hints of caramel and vanilla. Let's see what happens when we go to the U.S. website. Okay, so they're using the Canadian spelling. English, British, the British Commonwealth spelling. Well. Top of the morning to you. I'll go drive a lorry now. 7 generations of the Beam family. Look at those 7 generations right there in front of you. I love Jim Beam by Donnie from Detroit. Jim Beam fans. I hate the rest of the comment. Jim Beam fans. Okay, well, anyway, it's helping me through my divorce. So what they're saying on their website, Jim Beam is a good crutch for life. Yeah, that's a good approach there, Jim Beam. Next thing, you'll see some guy in a football helmet drinking it downtown Louisiana. Oh, that wasn't a movie, wasn't it? Those motorbike guys. He was drinking a little Jim Beam bottle I've got, but his was, because that was 1969 when they didn't have these plastic bottles. Evan Williams. Now, I don't know when they first came out with the 1783 small because I couldn't find a copyright. Because you know what? It's not copyrighted. 3 is not copyrighted, neither is small batch. Only the name Evan Williams, it says registered trademark. So 1783 is not copyrighted, trademarked. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, it's not a trademark, and neither is small batch. So you could make your own whiskey and call it 1783 small batch. You'd be ridiculed, and people would think you had no sense, but you could do it. Doesn't mean it would sell. And like I say, a classic Evan Williams sour. If you love cocktails, and Evan Williams is a cocktail product, it's made for mixing, as they say. Okay, on the website. Let's look at the comments, shall we? Wesley says, I wouldn't guess right either. Have you ever tried Bass Pale Ale? Yes, I have many times, and I loved it. Now they make it in New York State, and we don't get it anymore. I'm talking about they make it in New York State for the American market, Wesley. But I used to love the English Bass Pale Ale, the world's original trademark. Talking about trademarks, the world's that's trademark #1 for the whole world. For the whole world, any country, trademark #1. The first product ever trademarked in the history of the world is Bass Pale Ale. True story. Burley Sullivan says, "You, John Anile, legendary John Anile. Good morning, Ron. This is a good one. I really enjoy both of these products. I'd have to give a slight edge to the Evan Williams small batch, though. The Evan Williams small batch and Jim Beam Black would be a great matchup. I agree, but I thought this would be a snap. I thought, I'm going to roll to this one. Was it a case of overconfidence? It may have been, but really, I just think they're that close. Like you think in your mind, like me in my mind, that's where I think. Most people think in their mind, right? Because that's where your brain is. I mean, that's where your mind is in your brain. But getting back to what I was saying, my thinking was, I'll be able to tell it apart. Won't be a problem. Just go through it, get it right, move on. But if you notice during the taste challenge, I was starting to have trouble. Because what was I saying? Man, these are so similar. I don't understand, and had me perplexed. As it turns out, I couldn't get it right. 5% alcohol difference, 40% versus 45%. It's a difference, not a major difference like the proof makes it seem. 10% is really not, it's 5. Aging, you would think 4 years versus about 7. 3-year difference, right? That didn't even work out. So, well, that's it. That's the way it goes, I guess. Now, so got 4 wins and 2 losses. 2-to-1 ratio. That's not. That's two wins for every 1 loss, or 1 loss for every 2 wins. That's not too great, but we'll see if I can improve. I'm gonna try to get back on. I'm gonna try to get back in a saddle again. That's why you got to do the challenges. You just never know, says Johnny. You don't know. Now they got people on the internet claim they know. Oh, they know. They just know. They're certified and everything. But that's nice, and I'm proud of you. You got a certificate, and that's good. And I'm not jealous of it at all. But yet, on the other hand, until you do the blind taste test, it's all just talk. And you know what they say, talk is cheap. You could say it, but then why don't you do it? I'm calling you out, whoever you are. I'm talking about 1,000 people. You think you know your whiskey, and you talk about it all day. You talk about it 26 hours a day, 8 days a week. Okay, fine. Get on the platform and do the blind taste test, and then we'll talk. Yeah, they stopped selling it in Massachusetts. Oh, well, on to other things. Yeah, same thing. Bass is like dead. It's not even popular in England anymore. Just goes to show you, right? So, well, that's it. I'm out. And then we're going to come back. I'm probably going to do it today for Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a hectic day, but so many days are hectic, right? In the spring, summer, fall, winter, but only in those 4 seasons are things hectic. But I'm planning to do Jim Beam Black versus the 1783. So the next label you'll see will be a black label in an older looking bottle because the bottle is 10 years old. And we'll see what happens, man. I think the black is 86. I said 90, but I think it's 86, right? Did they up it to 90 or something? I don't know. They dropped the age statement. Used to be 8-year age. Now it's just extra aged. Whatever that means. Did they drop the age statement because of the tax problem? Maybe. Make it cheaper because it's not expensive. I mean, you know, it's a little bit more. It's not way more. Yeah, I gotta go find out where did I put that bottle. I got that bottle somewhere in this house on one of these shelves. I didn't give it away. Still got most of the bottle left. All right, y'all take care, and we'll see what happens. Now I got this pale ale I got to review today from Aldi. My friend David gave me a can. Thank you, David. Man, this thing is rare because they don't even have a website listing for it. I can find nothing about this. No website listing, no video reviews, nothing. And I couldn't even find the name of this peak. It might just be a made up name. It's like Shield Peak, Shuyele, Shuyele Peak Pale Ale, 5.6. Obviously trying to mimic Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, but not really achieving that goal. But you know, because Aldi, they don't really ever quite mimic stuff. But it's not bad. It's not bad. You're gonna see it's not a bad product. I wouldn't be trying to run it down, but it's okay. A little rough cut, but it's better than you would think. All right, it's a little bit better than I thought it would be. Yes, actually, it's got a little bit more character, but we'll see. I'll do the video. All right, y'all take care now. Bye bye.